My greedy and entitled aunt stole the vehicles my uncle left for me in his will. My aunt has always had a greedy streak ever since I was a kid. When my grandmother was on her deathbed, my aunt had talked her way into getting my grandmother to sign her on as an executor of the will and ended up taking everything and anything that had the most value. My uncle was my best friend and he was a truck driver. A few years ago he was struck with cancer. While he was in the hospital, my aunt tried to get him to assign her as an executor of his will, but since he was quick to pick up on what happened when my grandmother passed away, he hired a professional estate lawyer that would take care of everything. My aunt was about as happy as the state of Cleveland when LeBron took his talents to South Beach, and was quick to throw out a sob story of how offended she was that her brother couldn't entrust her with an important task. This went on for 2 weeks, even on his last day in hospice. She still brought it up. ND was asked to leave by nurses. My uncle passed away shortly after. We were all asked to gather at my mom's home where the estate lawyer came to tell us who was getting what. Finally my time came on the list and my uncle left me his rig and car, of course. My uncle's rig is a 2008 Lone Star International which was fully loaded. My uncle's car is a 1966 Chevelle SS. My first thought was, what in the hell am I going to do with a big rig? My aunt's first thought. Well, she didn't have a first thought, she just screamed and cussed at the lawyer saying that I was too sick to have those things and didn't deserve them because I was his nephew and not his sister. The lawyer asked her to sit down and he would get to her. When my aunt sat down she looked at me and said, "You're giving me the title to both of those." To which I laughed and said, "In your dreams maybe." The lawyer kept going down the list and because my uncle was a legend, he put my aunt at the bottom of the list and said, "To my sister I am leaving her my luckiest most important dollar, because all present at this meeting will know she needs it most," and then was handed the dirtiest looking Canadian $1 coin which was sealed in a block of acrylic. Myself, my dad and my other uncles nearly wet ourselves laughing. My aunt however didn't find it that funny and instead went into another tirade on how this was unfair and saying she didn't have anything to hold on that was his. The day passed and then the nightmare began. My aunt would call over and over and over asking about the truck, wanting to buy the car, if I was going to sell the truck, if I was going to sell the car, all to which I said no. Things got worse when my aunt started saying that she wanted her car and she had someone that wanted to buy our truck. At this point I got extremely irritated and said, "It's not your car, it's my car, and my car is staying with me, and it's not our truck, it's my truck, and no one is buying it." A week later I woke up and heard something, so I went to investigate. Lo and behold, there was a tow truck in the driveway. I quickly told the tow truck driver, who was a friend of my aunt, that if he so much as put a hand on that Chevelle I would have him arrested for trespassing and grand theft, and then proceeded to call the police. Cop showed up and I told the police officer my side of the story. Then he went to my aunt and the conversation went like this: "Ma'am, can you tell me, is this your car?"
"Yes, it is. He just won't give it to me."
"Ma'am, do you have the title of the vehicle?"
"No, I do not. He won't give that to me."
"Well, ma'am, I looked at the registration and title of the vehicle and he is listed as the owner of the vehicle. That vehicle is legally not yours and having it towed could land you and your friend prison time for auto theft."
"Well, I think I am the one who should get the car because he can't even take care of himself."
"Ma'am, it doesn't matter what you think. What matters is legal ownership, which you do not have." A week later my aunt had attempted to take me to court for the car. The case wasn't even put before a judge. My aunt refiled the claim again. It went to court and once I provided a copy of the will, title, and registration, the judgment went in my favor and my aunt was forced to pay my court costs after dismissing my aunt's claims with prejudice. Then tragedy struck again. This time a great uncle passed away. I was on the will again. Can you guess what was left to me? A new car. My great uncle's 1967 Chevrolet Impala SS, which he restored himself. My great aunt was thrilled that I got it, but the mood was quickly soured when she realized that my entitled aunt was not thrilled that I got it. This time she stepped it up a notch and skipped the screaming and complaining and instead went to scheming. 3 days after I took possession of the Impala, she rented not just one flatbed, but 2 flatbeds. She managed to get the Impala onto the flatbed and sped off, leaving her boyfriend behind attempting to get the Chevelle on his flatbed as quickly as he could while I stood by on the phone with police. Police quickly caught up with my aunt and arrested her. Her boyfriend was arrested in my driveway and literally peed himself in the process. Her and her boyfriend both were hit for 2 counts of motor vehicle theft. Both were charged and found guilty and sentenced to 2 years and 2 days in jail.